Hey guys, it's me, Nabil. It is EVO 2022 week. The moment and the event we've been waiting for a very long time is finally back after 2 years of, pretty much nothing. We had EVO Online, we didn't kind of thing. So it's finally back and it's happening this week. And as much as I always look forward to the actual competition and who wins what tournament, I also always look forward to announcements because EVO is the place for brand new fighting game announcements that usually are a surprise to us fans. Now, before I talk about what are my hopes and expectation in terms of announcements for all the fighting games, the major fighting game companies, I'm going to ask you to gently subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave a like, and don't forget to check out my video about my upcoming trip to Japan, where I'm going to be filming multiple FGC related documentaries. The link is in the description below. There's also a card over here where you can get more information, as well as if you are feeling generous and you can help with this massive endeavor and big projects that I'm working on. But enough about that, let's talk about EVO. As I said, we've had some pretty exciting announcements in the previous EVOs, and this year I have a feeling that it's going to be the same. So I'm going to go through the major fighting game companies and what are my hopes and expectation from them. Now, of course, I'm going to start with SNK. Obviously, huge SNK, and I have my username is Neogeonow, for God's sakes. So what are my expectations? Now, as you know, we have an ongoing season for the King of Fighters 15 in terms of DLC, and we just had the latest in the trailer for the Team Awakened Orochi, and SNK said that team is going to be playable at EVO. So I'm not expecting anything about these guys except that some of information about how they play from people who play the game. But there's still one more team that is going to be part of this first season, and I do believe we're gonna get the announcement and reveal trailer for these last 3 characters for the first season. But that's not all. That is not all. Now, just give you a reminder, in 2019, there was Samurai Showdown, just came out a few months, and we had a trailer about the remaining DLC characters, and we also had an announcement for the second DLC season, which was not happening until the next spring, and I think that's exactly what's going to happen with KOF 15. I think we're going to have an announcement for the next season, and we might get some information about who that first character or first team, because we're talking about teams here, of season 2 is in there. We might not get a reveal, but we might get some kind of hint. But I do expect we're gonna get an announcement for season 2. Now, my hopes for that is that season 2 is not next year, but starts either at the beginning of the first year of the next year or at the end of this current one, because I can't wait. The last DLC character is going to be in around probably October, so I don't want to wait that long for a new season, which let's face it, it's gonna happen. Like, the game is very popular. Always talking about SNK, there are some hints that we might get something else, right? So I don't know what that is, because the King of Fighters 15 producer Yasuo Kyoda was invited by Tekken producer Harada-san, and they talked about EVO a little bit, who's gonna win, and he did give a hint that we might be getting something new. Maybe he's talking about season 2, maybe he's talking about the last DLC team for the King of Fighters 15. But looking again at the previous EVOs, 2019 was the EVO where we got the announcement for the King of Fighters 15. So maybe we get an announcement. We know SNK, they already said they're working on the next game, so maybe we're gonna know what that game is. Fingers crossed for a new Fatal Fury game. Or maybe something else. I don't know, but I do hope we're gonna get something like that. Now, these are my expectations. Now let's talk about some of my hopes again about SNK. Samurai Showdown. That game is amazing. Unfortunately, it actually kind of died prematurely, and one of the reasons is the netcode. Now, SNK has delivered in terms of netcode performance when it comes to the King of Fighters 15 using rollback. So I do wish, I really hope that they're going to give us a rollback edition for Samurai Showdown. I will be the happiest person alive because I'm a huge Samurai Showdown. And while you're at it, why not add the last missing character from the first Samurai Showdown, Shiranui Genan? He's the only one missing from the original roster, so I do hope he's still in there. Now, those are my hopes for SNK, expectations and hopes for SNK. Let's talk about Capcom. Street Fighter 6 is obviously at EVO. They said this, it's going to be playable, and they're going to have a whole panel about Street Fighter. So what are my expectations and hopes? Well, my expectations is we're going to get a new character reveal for Street Fighter 6. It is almost guaranteed at this point. I do hope we're going to get a little bit more than that, though. I want to know more about the World Tour. Now, they showed the World Tour being only set from what we've seen in the Metro City, but they also said that this is a World Tour, and they gave a hint that you got to be traveling around the world. But I really want to know, what's the whole point? Not the whole point, but like, is this like a story mode? Do we still have some story mode again besides this World Tour thing? Is that a different thing? I really want to know more about the game modes of Street Fighter 6 and the story of Street Fighter 6. And speaking of story, if you don't know the lore of Street Fighter, and I gotta tell you, it actually some pretty deep lore. I actually started a series called the Street Fighter Lore Explained, and the first episode is out, and it is fantastic, if I say so myself. And it deals with the origins of Akuma, the origins of Goken, their martial arts, as well as the beginning of Ryu and Ken journey. Again, the card in here, I think, is where you can actually go watch that video, and let me know in the comments what you think about that video, because I really worked really hard on it. So those are my hopes again for Capcom, hopefully. And I also hope we're gonna get the Street Fighter collection is a great collection that we had, but it had terrible netcode. I do hope we're gonna get some sort of an update that has rollback netcode, since all the recent releases from Capcom have rollback netcode. So I would love to have a Street Fighter collection with the major Street Fighter games, but this time I want all of them to be playable, right? I mean, you gotta compete with some illegal, ways of playing these games online. So hopefully we're gonna get that possibility. Street Fighter Alpha 2 is one of my all-time favorites. I would love to have that in online. Third Strike, obviously, and I would like to see Super Street Fighter HD Remix or the Ultra Street Fighter 2, because I really like those graphics, updated graphics. Now that's pretty much for Capcom. The next thing is NetherRealm Studios. Mortal Kombat 11. I'm wearing Mortal Kombat t-shirt. I'm a big fan. Mortal Kombat 11 is the last game in the series of Mortal Kombat that we had so far. Unfortunately, I'm still kind of like bummed that they cut the support for the game really early, and then rumors started circulating that they're actually working on Mortal Kombat 12 and not Injustice 3. So some rumors saying it's actually Mortal Kombat versus DC 2, which is what? Maybe Injustice 3, whatever it is. I really want to know what's NetherRealm Studios' next game. I do hope it's a Mortal Kombat game, because I'm a huge Mortal Kombat fan. But if it's not a Mortal Kombat game, what about bringing back a remaster for Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks? That 3D action game is just fantastic. Has so much fun when that game came out in 2005, I think, 2006. So remaster or a sequel is really long overdue. So I do hope we're gonna get some new Mortal Kombat announcements in there. And NetherRealm Studios have been really quiet, which is kind of strange. Mortal Kombat 11 is, of course, one of the games at EVO, so it's only fitting that they announce something at the Grand Finals. Hopefully, we'll see. Now, some other expectations is that we might finally hear about the new Tekken game, Tekken 8. Not sure. The rumors that Namco is working on that one for a while. It could be a great way to announce it now. The Tekken new anime series is gonna start in the next couple of weeks on Netflix, and what better way to coincide that with an announcement of for a new Tekken game. But those are my hopes and expectations for these these game companies that I'm a huge fan of. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section. What are your expectations from EVO 2022 announcements? We might do another video about who, who's gonna win what. Will be interesting. But I'll be watching, and I will be keeping you guys posted on the latest and greatest from the world of fighting games. Now, until then, thank you guys for watching.